Wilt Chamberlain wasn't just an NBA legend. He was untouchable, a larger-than-life figure admired, feared, and endlessly mythologized by his peers. But behind the records and the bravado, there were stories that even his closest allies couldn't defend.
You made a statement, and this statement's going to follow you around for a while, that you slept with 20,000 women. You made that statement.
Now, NBA legends are finally speaking out about the line Wilt crossed and why they believe his own choices sealed his fate. The 20,000 women controversy. In 1991, Wilt Chamberlain released his autobiography, A View from Above. In that book, he made a claim that would follow him for the rest of his life and beyond. He said he had slept with over 20,000 women. The number came from his own calculations. He estimated starting at age 15 and averaged it out to about 1.2 new partners per day throughout his adult life. Chamberlain described himself as a sexual superman in the book. He attributed his success with women to his physical stature, his confidence, and his NBA fame. The reaction was immediate and harsh. Feminist writers and activists condemned the claim as emblematic of patriarchal entitlement, where a powerful man treated sexual encounters as a scorecard rather than mutual experiences. Critics argued that even if the number was mathematically possible, it reduced women to mere conquests. The timing made things worse. The book came out during the height of the AIDS crisis. Magic Johnson had recently disclosed his HIV status. People started asking questions about Chamberlain's own health practices. They wondered if he was glamorizing risky behavior without addressing safe sex. Public figures from late-night hosts to serious commentators weighed in. David Letterman and Jay Leno mocked the claim relentlessly. Chamberlain became a punchline for promiscuity jokes across the country. When Conan O'Brien interviewed Chamberlain, he made clear that this claim would define public perception of him.
Well, we got to talk about this. You made a statement, and this statement's going to follow you around for a while, that you slept with 20,000 women. You made that statement. Now, and I gotta say, that's the kind of thing that you say, and then people bring it up later.
Chamberlain tried to reframe the controversy as something educational rather than scandalous.
Well, first of all, it was encounters. But I thought maybe one of the reasons you invited me on the show was to give me an award from the Board of Education. Because whenever people see me now, they go, 20,000. And let's see, he must have started when he was like 15, and he's now maybe 55. So let's see, 20,365 and 20,000, and and then
so you're getting people thinking.
Not only that, I'm teaching them mathematics.
Despite this attempt at deflection, the damage was done. The backlash extended beyond media mockery into serious discussions about representation. Civil rights advocates worried the claim reinforced stereotypes of hypersexuality imposed on black men, a concern that scholars in sports sociology later examined when studying race and athletics. Chamberlain defended himself in various interviews. He insisted the 20,000 figure was an honest estimate rather than a literal count, but he also expressed regret, not for the acts themselves, but for how the disclosure hurt his family. His sisters reportedly felt embarrassed by the public attention. Modern NBA players have weighed in on the claim with skepticism. Dwight Howard, who idolized Chamberlain as a child, questioned the basic logistics of such a number.
Back then, there was no, teams were flying chartered planes. Where they were flying, they were taking buses, or they were taking regular planes. When would he have time to meet how many women a day? 20 women a day to sleep with him.
Listen, man, you make the time, Dwight. You make
no
the
way.
time if it's a priority.
Okay, but still, there's no way he could play basketball, practice, and sleep with 20 women a day. I don't think that we have enough inside of us to go out 20 times.
The controversy took a darker turn when Elvira, the famous horror hostess, came forward decades later with an allegation of sexual assault. In her memoir, she detailed how her friendly relationship with Chamberlain ended at one of his parties.
The Playboy Mansion, because I went there frequently because I was in Playboy models. And so I see Wilt through the years, and we were very, very friendly. I called him Uncle Wilty. In fact, we were what I thought was good. We're good friends. One time, finally, I went to his party, and he sexually assaulted me. I did not believe it was even happening. Obviously, I didn't report it because who's going to take the word of an out-of-work actress against basketball superstar.
After sharing her experience, Elvira raised a pointed question about Chamberlain's famous claim that would resonate in the Me Too era.
Also, he had a book that he said he had 20,000 sexual conquests, And it made me really wonder, how many of those were actually consensual? Had to wonder about that.
This allegation, emerging years after Chamberlain's death, added a troubling dimension to discussions about his legacy. The 20,000 women claim, once treated as either boastful humor or harmless exaggeration, became subject to more critical scrutiny. But the controversies surrounding Chamberlain extended far beyond his personal life. His on-court behavior generated just as much debate. Rivalries and the selfish player narrative. Beyond his personal life, Wilt Chamberlain faced relentless criticism about his approach to basketball itself. The accusations were consistent throughout his career. He was selfish, he stat-padded, and he prioritized individual achievements over team success. These criticisms came from teammates, coaches, analysts, and eventually became central to debates about his legacy. The rivalry that defined Chamberlain's career was with Bill Russell of the Boston Celtics. The two giants clashed 142 times overall, 94 regular season games and 49 playoff contests. Russell's Celtics held a commanding 57-37 regular season edge and 29-20 in playoffs, including a 7-1 series record that saw Chamberlain's teams eliminated repeatedly by Boston's dynasty. On paper, Chamberlain often outshone Russell statistically. He averaged around 30 points and 28 rebounds in their head-to-head matchups, compared to Russell's more modest 14 points and 24 rebounds. Yet, Russell's focus on defense, leadership, and intangibles led to 11 championships versus Chamberlain's 2. This disparity fueled accusations that Chamberlain lacked the killer instinct or selflessness Russell embodied. Critics labeled Wilt as more concerned with personal glory than winning. The narrative persisted throughout his career and intensified after his retirement, but Russell himself painted a different picture of their relationship. Despite their intense on-court battles, they maintained a genuine friendship that lasted until Chamberlain's death.
Remember him for me.
Okay. Well, now my memory, we'll have to go back to the fact that we were friends.
Right. Friends.
Yes. Not just acquaintances and not just competitors, but we're friends and we could talk about things.
In their joint 1997 interview, Chamberlain addressed the perception that they were bitter enemies off the court and touched on the label that haunted him throughout his career.
People think that for a while we didn't really like each other, and they always chose to believe that you cannot be as good as we both were, apparently, doing our thing, and really like you. I had to be envious of him. The only thing I was envious of him was the fact was that people would from time to time call me a loser. Well, if I'm a loser, then damn near everybody else who was playing was.
Russell acknowledged how difficult it was to defend Chamberlain, explaining that he could never use the same strategy twice.
What was the toughest thing for you playing against Wilt?
I could never play him the same way 2 games in a row because it would not work. And so through the whole time we played against each other, every game was different.
One of the points that Bill makes is you played against each other so many times.
That's very correct.
Chamberlain's rivalry with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar evolved from admiration to bitterness. As a young player named Lou Alcindor, Kareem idolized Chamberlain, calling him my hero, and seeking advice during his UCLA days. Chamberlain offered guidance on handling fame and physical play. Their NBA encounters began in 1969, with 28 head-to-head games split evenly at 14 wins each. On the court, highlights included Chamberlain blocking Abdul-Jabbar's skyhook multiple times in the 1972 Western Conference Finals, a rare feat that showcased Wilt's defensive tenacity even in his mid-30s. But off the court, tensions escalated throughout the 1970s. Chamberlain accused Abdul-Jabbar of being a crybaby and quitter for demanding trades and sitting out games. While Kareem criticized Wilt's work ethic, his politics, Chamberlain supported Nixon, contrasting with Abdul-Jabbar's activism, and his post-retirement commentary as bitter and outdated. The stat-padding accusations formed the core of controversies around Chamberlain's team dynamics. Teammates and coaches often portrayed him as a disruptive force who chased records over victories. Early in his career, critics claimed he ignored passing opportunities to inflate his scoring scoring numbers. To counter these accusations, Chamberlain made a deliberate pivot in 1968. He led the league in assists with 8.6 per game, helping his 76ers win a title. But even this achievement was dismissed by some as another stat chase rather than genuine unselfishness. Teammates like Elgin Baylor and Jerry West on the Lakers expressed frustrations. Baylor noted in his book that Wilt's focus on milestones disrupted team flow, and West recalled ego-driven conflicts. A particularly infamous feud was with Lakers coach Butch Van Breda Kolff in 1969, where Chamberlain's demands and perceived lack of effort led to him being benched in Game 7 of the finals, a decision that polarized the team and the city. The criticism of Chamberlain's playoff performances became a central argument against his greatness. Across his career, Wilt averaged 30.1 points per game in the regular season, but dropped to 22.5 in the playoffs, a roughly 25% reduction that occurred in nearly every postseason run. Analysts questioned whether this made him the most disappointing playoff scorer in NBA history. Chamberlain harbored his own resentments toward the NBA, calling it a Bush League for biases against him, including what he perceived as stat-keeping favoritism and petty feuds stemming from jealousy of his dominance. Yet despite all the criticism about selfishness and losing, no one could deny the sheer athletic dominance Chamberlain displayed on the court. Dominance that changed the game. Despite the controversy surrounding his personal life and perceived selfishness, Wilt Chamberlain's athletic achievements remain unmatched in NBA history. His physical dominance was so overwhelming that the league literally changed its rules to counteract him, a testament to just how unfair his advantages were. Oscar Robertson, known as the Big O, provided crucial context for understanding Chamberlain's impact on the league. Robertson emphasized how Chamberlain single-handedly carried the NBA during its formative years.
I enjoyed Wilt because I knew Wilt very well, and Wilt was a big talker, you know. And Wilt was talking about what he's going to do and whatnot, but Wilt was putting on a show for people, you know. And Wilt carried the NBA for years. And I've always said this, that the year when Philadelphia moved to San Francisco and Syracuse came down to Philly, Wilt averaged 50 points a game. And people don't say anything about it.
Unbelievable.
Robertson also marveled at feats that seem impossible by today's standards, noting that Chamberlain once grabbed 50 rebounds in a single game.
Hell, I think Russell got 48 that game. I mean, can you imagine one man getting 50 rebounds in a basketball game?
It's incredible.
It is, and and the thing about it, he played every minute.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He played in every game.
The statistics from Chamberlain's most dominant seasons defy belief. During the 1961-62 season, he averaged an astonishing 48.5 minutes per game, playing virtually every second of every contest, except for one ejection, while posting 50.4 points and 25.7 rebounds per game. He scored 50 or more points in 45 games that season, including 7 straight 60-point outings. His most iconic achievement came on March 2nd, 1962, against the New York Knicks. Chamberlain scored 100 points in a single game, a mark that remains untouched over 6 decades later. He shot 36 of 63 from the field and 28 of 32 from the free throw line, accounting for nearly 60% of his team's points. When Conan O'Brien asked about that legendary game, Chamberlain revealed the emotional complexity of that night.
Well, I really wish it was. Actually, they were really very embarrassed about the whole thing. And so they were mad at me. And I was just out there trying to have fun.
Did you start to, at 85 points, did you start to feel bad a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And the people
I'll just try and miss this one, 100 points.
And I did that, I know, I did that. Then my mother scolded me when I got home. You should be ashamed of yourself. It was not an easy night.
Chamberlain's dominance forced the NBA to change its rules multiple times. The free throw lane was widened from 12 to 16 feet in 1964, known as the Wilt Rule, to prevent him from stationing himself too close to the basket. Offensive goaltending was banned because he could leap so high that he would swat away shots after they had already begun their descent toward the rim. Even dunking free throws was prohibited because Chamberlain could leap from behind the free throw line and slam the ball through the hoop. When discussing Michael Jordan with Conan, Chamberlain explained how different the expectations were in his era. Flashy plays were punished rather than celebrated.
During my time, if you did a 360, first of all, the opposition would take it as an insult that you would try to do something like that against them. The coach on your own team, if you weren't at least 90,000 points ahead, would bench you. And the fans will look at you like, well, he's the biggest hot dog in the world.
So you're saying Michael Jordan back then would have been on the bench the whole time?
Absolutely.
Chamberlain's physical gifts extended far beyond basketball. He high jumped over 6'6", ran the 100-yard dash in 10.9 seconds, triple jumped over 50 feet, and threw the shot put 53 feet 4 inches. He was inducted into the International Volleyball Hall of Fame in 1978 for his contributions to that sport after his basketball retirement. LeBron James, upon passing Chamberlain on the all-time scoring list, reflected on just how unique Wilt was as an athlete.
A lot of things. One of the most dominant forces we ever had in our game, along with Shaq. One of the greatest Lakers to ever play the game. 100-point scorer. One of the greatest scorers, rebounders ever. Played this game. Multi-sport dimension type of athlete. Somebody people have never seen someone like that in that era. So just dominant in all walks of life, not only just basketball.
But all that dominance and physical superiority couldn't protect Chamberlain from mortality. And when he died at 63, the circumstances sparked as much controversy as his life had. Death and the health rumors. On October 12, 1999, Wilt Chamberlain was found unresponsive in his Bel Air home. He was 63 years old. The official cause of death was congestive heart failure due to cardiomyopathy, a weakened heart muscle. The death shocked the sports world. Here was an athlete celebrated for superhuman vitality and endurance, a man who had played 48.5 minutes per game during his most dominant season, who seemed invincible, and he had died in his early 60s. Chamberlain himself had boasted about his physical prowess in his final years. On Conan O'Brien's show, he made claims about his strength that seemed almost impossible.
I mean, I'm a guy bench pressing around 600 pounds. I was at my best.
600 pounds?
Yeah, right.
So, I'm at 5'10". That's pretty good. I'll just work on it a little while. I'll be in your league, my friend.
Right.
Dwight Howard discussed these legendary strength claims, noting that Arnold Schwarzenegger himself vouched for Chamberlain's power.
Him there, he did talked about how strong Wilt Chamberlain was. He said the strongest person. You got Wilt. You got Arnold, who's always lifting weights, said how strong he was. The 20,000 sounds crazy to me. I could see him doing some crazy weights.
But behind the image of physical perfection, Chamberlain had been dealing with cardiac issues for decades. Reports of an irregular heartbeat surfaced as early as the 1960s, though he downplayed them publicly to maintain his unbreakable image. A more documented episode occurred in 1992, when he was hospitalized for 3 days due to arrhythmia. In the months leading to his death, Chamberlain's health deteriorated rapidly. He lost 50 pounds unintentionally, experienced swelling in his legs from fluid retention, required oxygen assistance at home, and struggled with basic mobility. He was hospitalized briefly in the summer of 1999 for heart failure symptoms, but discharged himself against medical advice. Medical experts later suggested multiple factors contributed to his heart problems. His enormous size, 7'1", and often over 300 pounds, placed extraordinary stress on his cardiovascular system throughout his life. Some analyses pointed to possible bacterial infections, potentially from dental surgery he underwent in his final year. Others speculated that infections related to his well-documented promiscuity could have contributed to cardiomyopathy over time. The 20,000 women claim inevitably became linked to rumors about his death. Speculation arose that his promiscuity contributed to his demise, with unfounded whispers of AIDS or sexually transmitted infections weakening his heart through complications. Medical experts and his family debunked these rumors, confirming his death was due to long-standing cardiac issues. But the rumors persisted in online forums and tabloids. The autobiography's revelations had created a connection in the public mind between Chamberlain's sexual behavior and his mortality. For many, his death at 63 seemed like karmic justice, a man who bragged about sexual excess paying the ultimate price. The absence of a full autopsy, Chamberlain's body was cremated shortly after his death, prevented definitive answers about the exact contributors to his heart failure. AIDS-related deaths typically involve opportunistic infections not present in Chamberlain's case, and Chamberlain had reportedly tested negative multiple times, but in the court of public opinion, the 20,000 women claim had already convicted him. Bill Russell's reaction to Chamberlain's death revealed the depth of their bond and the profound sense of loss he felt.
You miss him. He was a great guy.
Yeah, it's like an enormous sense of loss. It's almost like as long as he was alive, the competition that we had was sort of a backup for me. Mm-hmm. Because we always had that, and like this was the greatest competitive thing I think, in the history of American sports.
Russell attended the memorial service in Los Angeles and shared a touching detail about how close they remained until the end.
After he died, I went to the memorial service in Los Angeles. And one of his nephews came up to me and said, I think I want to tell you this. I was cleaning off my uncle's desk, and he had a stack of notes of people he's going to call. And your name was on top of the list.
Chamberlain's death closed one chapter, but the debates about his legacy were far from over. If anything, they intensified in the decades that followed. The complicated legacy. The question of where Wilt Chamberlain ranks among the greatest players ever remains contentious decades after his death. His statistical resume is unmatched, 72 NBA records, including the 100-point and game and the 50.4 points per game season. Yet he won only 2 championships compared to Bill Russell's 11 or Michael Jordan's 6. Michael Jordan himself weighed in on the impossibility of cross-era comparisons and why declaring anyone the greatest of all time is fundamentally flawed.
5-10 years ago, it was always who's greater, who's going to be the greatest, him or Jack, and that conversation is pretty much over to most people.
I beg to differ, and I'll give a different analogy to that because, first of all, you're never going to say who's the greatest of all time. To me, I think that's more for PR and more for selling stories and getting hype. Jack and Tiger never played against each other. They never played in the same tournament. They never played with the same equipment. They never played with the same, length of golf course. I never played against Wilt Chamberlain. I never played against, Jerry West.
Jordan then applied his framework to championship comparisons, defending Chamberlain against those who use ring counts as the ultimate measure.
And I think those are when, that's how people are judging certain things. I won 6 championships. Bill Russell won 11. Does that make Bill Russell better than me and make me better than him? No, because we play at different eras. So when you try to equate who's the greatest of all time, it's an unfair parallel. It's an unfair choice.
Shaquille O'Neal, who considered himself the most dominant player ever, expressed mixed feelings about his connection to Chamberlain and admitted he wanted to surpass Wilt in the record books.
You talked about the old school guys you like to talk to, and when I put up this Wilt Chamberlain card,
I'm mad because I wanted to pass him up in points. When I hear a conversation about myself, I only want to hear one name.
The big Aristotle.
Superman. The Diesel. Big Cactus. Most dominant ever.
MBE.
Now, if I would have passed him up, I would have arrogantly said, Shaquille O'Neal is the most dominant player ever. Don't ever ask me the question again. Yeah, I got more rings than him, but he got more 50-point games, he got more rebounds, and he has more points.
When asked directly how he would have fared against Chamberlain, Shaq was characteristically blunt about wanting to physically dominate his idol.
What would it have been like if Shaq faced off against Wilt Chamberlain?
You want to give yours and then I'll give mine?
Yeah, I'm going to give my idol, Bust Wilt. How about that? No, because you know why? Because I looked over and I would have seen him playing with my idol, and that would have pissed me the off.
There you go.
And that would have pissed me off.
So
and I would have been like, Doc, you playing with that and you ain't playing with me? Watch this, Will. In the first play of the game, I'm going to try to knock his teeth out his mouth.
Bill Russell and Chamberlain, in their 1997 joint interview, both claimed they would dominate today's centers. When asked how many points he would average in the modern NBA, Chamberlain's answer was bold.
If you were playing today, how many points would you average, you think?
In what, today, right now?
No, not right now. I mean,
because I could get maybe 30 right now, big fella. I'm trying to tell you.
At 60.
At 60, yeah, 30 and 60, cut that in half, yes. But at 30,
I call him
at 60 I could get 30, but at 30, I could probably average 60 or 70. Yeah, and I mean, I'm saying that, I'm saying that politely. I'm not trying to just, I'm not trying to dismantle your belief on how great the athlete of today is, but the game would best suit me. Believe me, would best suit me.
Chamberlain's posthumous impact on the NBA extends beyond statistical debates. The rule changes he prompted in the 1960s, widening the lane, banning offensive goaltending, prohibiting dunked free throws, fundamentally altered how the game is played. These modifications shifted basketball toward perimeter play and skill diversity, laying the groundwork for the modern NBA's emphasis on spacing, three-point shooting, and multi-positional athletes. Modern stars like Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, and Giannis Antetokounmpo frequently cite Chamberlain's influence. Embiid emulates his fadeaway while adding three-point range. Jokic channels Wilt's 1968 assist-leading season through his playmaking prowess, and Antetokounmpo mirrors his fast-break athleticism. The paradox of Wilt Chamberlain is that his dominance was so absolute that anything short of perpetual victory was deemed a failure, a standard not equally applied to others. His 20,000 women claim, his rivalries, his perceived selfishness, and the health rumors surrounding his death all combine to create a legacy that remains contested. Yet, as Bill Russell noted, the two men who understood each other best, who competed against each other 142 times, who picked each other up from airports, who maintained a friendship through decades of being pitted against one another, never felt the need to settle the question that consumed everyone else. Wilt Chamberlain remains one of the most dominant athletes in history, a man who changed his sport so thoroughly that the rules had to change to accommodate him. He was also deeply flawed, controversial, and polarizing. The question of whether he deserved his fate says more about those asking than about Chamberlain himself. He died of heart failure at 63. The controversies that surrounded him in life followed him in death, and the debates about his legacy continue more than 2 decades later, which may be exactly what a man who craved attention would have wanted. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed watching this video, click on one of the boxes playing on your screen to watch more similar content.